What's going on, everybody? Ian Walsh here, Hard Money Bankers, joined with my partner, Ryan Walsh, Hard Money Bankers. What's going on, Ryan?
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Hopefully it was a good week. I would say we had some eventful weeks in the market, eventful moments in the market with earnings, as in pretty much the only thing it did was stop the upswing right now of the bull move. But as people may or may not know, we have been following for the past month and will continue to do so with stock charts. The Dow Jones Industrial, because there was a very big move that occurred. I don't know. Should we explain every day? Do I have to explain it, re-explain every day, or just assume that everybody is watching is caught up on the motion here?
I'd say maybe every few days we set the reminder of the Evergrande and supply chain issues are a thing.
Right. Okay.
But honestly, at this point, I think most people are aware of that.
Yeah, I agree. I had a weird dream last night where I was doing some sort of presentation like a year ago, and I brought up this real estate company that I said we need to look out for, and then I realized, like, holy cow, it was Evergrande that I was actually analyzing.
Wait,
I don't really know what that. Yeah,
it was a dream.
Yeah, but dreams are like interpreted, and so as I predicted, does that mean it's an accurate prediction on the future here? I don't know.
We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah. So this is the chart we've been looking at, which is everything is an inflection point now off of that Evergrande move, which is the balancing point here. And really, that's the key pivot in the market for many, many positions. And as we speak, actually, I don't have today's, but we're still up at the around the all-time highs. We're showing some volatility with some red motion. So we need to see what that next pullback is going to look like as we come into it. As I mentioned yesterday, usually when you have this many inflections or this many positions running off one inflection point, the market usually clears out business pretty hard when it comes down to like this cluster of positions that extend off of it.
If it hits it again,
right? Yeah. So it would come down and then if you do that, if you clear that out pretty hard, you then are looking at the end of times line. Which is the biggest trend line, I think, in our lifetime that we may come up against for the foreseeable future. So with that said, why don't we talk about
I mean, that statement, I mean, just because of how off balance it feels with all the inflation and everything that's been going on, it's whenever the crash is, even if it's in the next 10 years or 20 years, it seems like it's going to be a tricky one to pull out, right, compared to previous crashes. So
I don't know if anybody knows, like, what's the solution. I just don't know that print money is going to be the one that makes everybody believe in it again.
Hasn't failed us yet, though, I will say.
It's true. You can just print every trillion, quadrillion, whatever, gadrillion. But the interesting thing is, we're starting to see some selling volume here at the top as well, which means sellers, if you technically you want to see less volume up here, but we're seeing more volume up here. So
can you explain why some of those bars are red versus green? Does that just mean the day closed like that?
Yes. So like a red bar means it was a red close on the day. So it was a selling bar. So overall, the sellers won the day. The close was lower than the open on the day. And then therefore it's marked on both the actual price bar and then the volume bar, the color that coordinates with it. So let's talk about the underlying effects though, because I think those are really important still right now. So supply chain is the big issue, right? That's a big one. Evergrande is still looming. And with supply chain comes gas. I think it's kind of hand in hand. So you had an interesting event yesterday. You went to the car dealership, and what did that look like?
Yeah, if anybody else is finding out this news via what I'm about to say, that's mind blowing to me. Like the fact that I didn't know this going into this makes me really scratch my head. So I was at a car dealership, and they had no new cars. This is a big dealership. And they said, yeah, you can go next door to another big dealership, and they also have no new cars. What? And they said, yeah, we're not getting any until 2022. And some of our models we're not getting until 2023. And then he said, yeah, and we don't know if that's going to be considered, like does this mean like a 2021 model isn't coming out until 2023? Or is it going to be a 2023 model? He's like, we don't know. This is the actual salesperson at the dealership telling me this.
Right.
So
we've not seen this on the news. We have not seen this in media. We have not seen anything.
I said that to him. I was like, how am I finding out now? He's like, I have no idea why this is not news is not out there. And he's like, and we're not the only company. Like he's like, there's a lot of other companies that we talk to outside of car dealerships that are in the same situation.
That's what I was gonna say. That's just car dealerships. So like, it's got to be everything, right? Car dealerships are not, you know, I mean, I guess they're up there on the necessity chain, but not, you know, there's a lot of other things above that and below that, that in terms of things that probably are not accessible. I mean, I know a lot of things that, you know, small things right now on Amazon are back ordered and stuff, but like when you're starting to talk about cars, food, gas, you know, you're like, why isn't anybody talking about this? Which I think is crazy, right? We're living in the twilight zone right now, which also is a huge news divergence with price right now. It's like, I'm going to the car dealership. They literally are like about to collapse. Like you can't sell any new cars, but we're at all-time highs, right? Like,
right.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and you know, I remember somebody commented on one of our shows saying, "You guys sound like one of those buy my product gurus. Like the world's going to end, so buy my inside scoop advice as to what to do." So maybe we do sound like that right now. But two things to that: one, we are not selling anything. We have no interest in selling anything. We are lenders, right? So we're just talking real estate lenders. We're just talking about what we're seeing in the market. And as I said to Ian yesterday, I was like, dude, if we get through quarter four and even like the beginning of 22 and the market's fine, like I'm just not doing this anymore because I don't understand it clearly. But this, I think right now at this moment, there is a huge divergence in terms of news and what the market is doing, more so than I've ever personally seen. And that's why, you know, I think we're so vocal about it right now. Like this is really, from our perspective, it does not make sense.
Right. Nothing's adding up. So the question is just like timing though. So maybe it does make sense. It's just not showing like completely yet. Like, so is it lagging? Is it foreshadowing? Is it, you know, which brings me to the next question, which is the elections. So you go, like, you know, there was that video of Governor Murphy in New Jersey circulating, which, you know, he was like, yeah, once I get in, you know, I'm going to slap all these mandates on you. Next thing you know, you're going to be New York or California part due. Right. So, and it's, you know, it's like son of a gun. And then you go, well, wait a minute. How many other election things right now are just waiting? Because it's been really quiet. Like COVID's been quiet. Supply chain's been pretty quiet. It hasn't been, you know, I mean, everybody knows it's all there, but it hasn't been like scare the hell out of everybody. Let's, you know, do that. So I'm like, yeah, it's been quiet for like a few weeks. And then I was like, oh, it makes sense because everybody's going to get elected and then they're going to be, boom, hit you with the fear, you know, just pile the fear on. Okay, now mandates, COVID, now supply chain's an issue. Now we're going to use this on the tax bill because they still have the debt ceiling thing coming up that they've been like going back and forth with. Everybody's just been quiet because the election, nobody wants to rock the boat and lose the election based on
right.
That's what it is. So I would actually think that we're going to really start to see, and you know, Larry Steinhaus has been pretty vocal about November pulling in pretty hard. The chart suggests that November is going to pull down because you're going to have to make this second leg down. But yeah, it made it make sense. Why I think you're going to hear about your car dealerships after Tuesday. Like that's which is so stupid. Like it's ridiculous.
This goes one of two ways. That it's as controlled as you and I have been talking about, and they don't give a shit anymore, right? They're just like, we can manipulate this in front of your face and it doesn't matter. Even if
I'll tell you when you need to think what you need to think.
Right.
Like,
right.
And right now you don't need to think that. So I'm not going to let you think that. But as of Wednesday, you're going to be thinking it. So,
or we're wrong and we're going to find out. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. It actually just made sense. I guess I was just putting a piece of the puzzle together and just be like, oh, this kind of makes sense. Why like you could walk into a car dealership and there's no cars. I mean, it's a crazy statement, but it is it's going into a supermarket and there's no food and apparently nobody's saying anything, you know, it's like the same thing. It's like, yeah, we're not going to have food till like 2022, 2023, maybe. And like, wait, what? Like, how is this not like national? How is there not like the reserves being called in as like a military, you know, oh, that's because the elections are Tuesday. We didn't want to tell anybody till Tuesday. Right. Like, that's what it feels like, right? That's literally what it feels like. I don't know. It's unexplainable otherwise to me. I think potentially what it is too is just, you know, the government doesn't have as good of control of the media as they once did either. So like there's like real time things that come out and like confuse people. Like you're like, oh well, you know,
Like
once upon a time,
the ships being ported. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, anything, right? So it's just like they don't have like TV news isn't really going to be what people rely on to tell them, okay, this is happening now. This is what I need to think. Oh, there, Mark Weiser says, yeah, I was on Black Horse Pike yesterday. No cars in the car dealership. Mark, I saw when I was driving, usually when you see, at least for the past year, because everybody and their mother right now has a BMW and a Mercedes because of the liquidity in the market. Like kids coming out of college, Mercedes, Beamer, like, you know, we used to see like strips of these new car, you know, the guys that would travel the cars across. What am I thinking? When you deliver cars from like on a big truck, what the hell is that called?
I don't know. I know what you're talking about.
The big truck that carries all the cars. Used to be just lines of new cars. All of a sudden, the past few days, I've been seeing used cars on these trucks, which I've never seen. Noticed.
That's all the dealerships can get right now.
Because it's all they have is used cars, right?
Yeah.
So and then I also noticed in the past several days there has been tons of trucks. So the traffic has been up. So there's been just tons of trucks on the road trying to deal with the supply chain issue. So it's like a scramble going on right now. And I can't even imagine what's in the back of half of those trucks. They're probably just like, are we going to get like used food too? Are we going to get like yesterday's cake? Like what's going on in there? You know, what are in these trucks? Like Biden said, work harder. So they put more trucks on the road. I don't, it's bizarre.
Yep.
I don't know what to make of it.
I got nothing. I mean, we're just saying the fundamentals do not line up with price right now. One of them has to meet, you know, whether they both start going towards each other or whatnot. The divergence can't continue forever.
No, it's going to have to pull together. Don't know about this comment, Mark. I'm going to refrain from that one because I don't know where you're going with it. So I'm just going to leave that in the in the comments on Facebook, so I won't put it on there. But I would need you to expand on that because I don't really know where you're going with it.
I don't think there's an expansion. I think he's just trying to be funny.
They just messing around. Okay. As far as the the charts next week, I think we take a look at like a real estate chart, but it's going to be like a 1 day. I don't know. I guess we'll look at it on Monday and then see how interesting it is. Sorry, I can't help myself.
Yeah, I mean, there's at this point, I don't see like nothing's changed in the last 2 weeks in terms of like kind of what we've been saying on this show, right? Like until these issues get resolved. I mean, I was just looking at a car dealership loan yesterday. Like this does impact real estate because I was like, I ain't touching that. Like, no way am I lending on that right now.
Somebody wanted you to do a loan for a car dealership?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I did give them a very low LTV, but it was like basically land value, right?
Because it's not going to be. It very likely could not be a car dealership in the next 6 months, pretty easily.
Yeah. So these issues absolutely translate to what lenders are looking at. Personally, I think you'd be insane to lend on a car dealership right now, but everybody's looking at things from a different perspective. So,
well, I think we're going to find out pretty soon what the other things you're going to be like. Well, not lending on those anymore. Because right now we just don't know. You just walked into a car dealership. You're like, oh, well, they don't sell cars anymore at these dealerships. So I'm not going to lend against that. And but is it going to be, restaurants were hit hard during COVID. So restaurants were hard to sell during COVID. So what are the other items? I don't know. I hate to say grocery stores. What are the other possible? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head what other kind of high inventory type businesses, would be.
I mean, it could kind of just be a little bit of a round two of just in general, commercial is,
commercial can't handle that.
Not another round two. Exactly.
Yeah,
that's what I said yesterday.
Down.
It feels like, in COVID, all the businesses were trying to get through thinking like, all right, I just got to survive until we get out of this. Right. So the first 2 months were really tough for businesses. But then the market started coming back and it was like hope. It's like, okay, we're going to be okay. If I hold this up for another 2 months, some restaurants really weren't able to do it, but the ones that were maybe more established, they were able to do it and come through. Right. But it feels like they're starting that like this, like the car dealership. I asked him, like, what is the plan? What are they telling you guys? Because like he literally said, nothing. We have been told nothing.
Yeah.
So to me, that means let's just say corporate, they're just saying like, we're in survival mode right now. And we're trying not to panic our people, right? So they're just hoping that, okay, once the supply chain issue gets resolved, cars are back on the field, we're gonna be fine, right? But they're in survival mode right now. They're just not. It's not as open and out there as it was during COVID.
Yeah, I mean, we saw like the little underlying headline, like GM or whatever. What did I say? GM shut their factories in North America. And you're like, wait a minute, like that's not a good sign if you're already not selling cars, right? So
right.
There's a lot. I really just think over the next month, like the skeletons come out of the closet, and it makes sense post-election because nobody wanted to rock the boat pre-election, which so, gosh, that's just infuriating.
If it's the way it goes and it's how we're talking about, yeah, super infuriating. I mean, we just had I apologize, what was it? Beth.
Beth, yeah.
Yeah, Beth. Like she was kind of calling it out, being like, "Yeah, that is what's going on," right? So I don't know.
I mean, honestly, it's a tough time to be a brick and mortar business. It's a really tough time in history when you look back. When you're going to look back on this, because the brick and mortar business, if you sell a good, hits hard during COVID because you have to physically sell those items unless you're, I guess, shipping them, storing them somewhere, and then shipping them on, the internet. But you're about to get hit, like then you're going to get hit by supply chain, which are your goods. So it's like, gosh, like that's doubling up against the commercial space. And then I'm not convinced that the commercial space, the future of commercial real estate may never be the same again. I think so many people realize they don't have to physically go to a structure. I mean, there's a lot of jobs that still do.
Yeah, there's certain businesses that,
but like,
but
let's say it's like even just 80, let's say 20% don't have to. 20% is a huge number. Let's say it's 30%, 40%, 50%. I don't know what the number is.
Yeah.
But like that factor, and then it changes your entire economy. And then you're like, well, what are we? Are we we're definitely a consumer economy, not a producer economy in terms of, I guess, maybe intellectual production, would be considered the United States, but much higher as a consumer. And as a consumer economy, you rely on supply chain. You need those barges to come in because you are consuming. You're not giving back to the world as much as they're giving you, which is a giant imbalance in general.
Yep.
So
I don't know. I don't see how we get through quarter four, continuing all-time high. So like I said, if we do, like I'm out. I can't. I don't understand this at all. But
yeah. So Mark just posted retail office leasing is in the toilet. So Mark is in the commercial business like that. He's in the real estate commercial business. So he understands it. Like he knows it very well, like, inside and out. And he's saying it's just, leasing retail. It's gotta be, I mean, you see it, you drive around now. I can't tell you how many like stores I see are just like out of business, like malls. Have you been to a mall since COVID?
I have actually.
Yeah. It's like, I mean, unless you're there Saturday morning, like sometimes you get that Saturday morning that you see cars there and you feel good about it. But like every other day of the week is just crickets. You walk in the mall, you're like, there's like maybe 100 people in here.
Well, I mean, so at King of Prussia Mall. So if you're,
okay, there's like a world-class mall right there. Yeah.
Yeah. So it did have decent people count. I don't know but the hours were shrunk in, right? So it's like, it's not open as long as it was before. It's just like on.
Oh, really? They changed the hours.
Yeah, exactly. So and not all the shops. So like, not only did the mall change its hours, but the shops inside of it also changed its hours, right?
And then you go and look in the shop, and you go, yeah, it seems like there's a lot of people here. There's a good bit of people, but then you're like, there's 6 people in this entire store.
Yeah, like, that was probably accurate. Yeah.
And you're like, 6 people, like, are they like each buying $10,000 worth of clothes? Like, how is this store going to stay open? Like, you can't tell me they're not burning through like the hourly workers rate just there. Forget about the cost of leasing. So like that whole world has just changed in terms of retail space. So now those stores that were somehow remaining open in those malls are going to get smashed by supply chain. I don't know. I think commercial will change forever. I don't know where it'll exist, but I think it'll be changed forever. And I don't know how or where.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon will keep going up.
What's that?
Amazon will keep going up though.
It's so good. It's so damn good. I don't know.
That's the alternative is. You're like, oh, I can't go to the mall. Oh, well, I'll just order online, right? Like there was an alternative for people to do here. That's why like I think that's why you're saying like it's probably changed forever because
Yeah. Because what are you going to put in there? You already Amazon just solved the problem. It's over.
it was substituted it. Yeah.
Yeah, so a couple places like Target and stuff still exist pretty well. Walmart, I guess, but like the majority of other kinds of businesses, what is done with that space? Do you convert it into residential? I don't know what the use of that space becomes. Like highly demanded space for what?
Yeah, I don't know. New construction, maybe. So it's got to get rezoned and yada yada.
Yeah, I don't know. Like let's say malls. I mean, sure, malls are just bleeding. What do they get repurposed as? Giant apartment, like mini cities, like a little mini city. Like you could, I could see like a WeWork type company going around the country buying up malls and turning them into like little WeWork, or not WeWork, but like little basically little cities. But which is a cool idea, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Too much to type. Mark's got all the answers. There's too much to type. I got you, man. Yeah, you probably have a really good insight. You live this, so you understand what's happening there. I don't know. I'd be curious to know what you think about, where it's going and what you're seeing, or like what the demand actually becomes now, because I really don't know. I don't know what fills that. I mean, it's probably a good idea to do that REIT chart on Monday. Maybe I can get like a commercial REIT just to see how that looks on an actual chart. Sure. To see if like it's showing a bottom or a top or something, to say, okay, like there should be a solution coming in right around here because the chart says it. Maybe that'll answer that question. But until then, I can't like sit here and think of one that makes sense to me logically. So, all right. I think Monday is the 1st, right? So we are done with October. So last trading day of the month, and try to make some money, buy some Shibu. I don't know what to buy your 800% Shibu and tell everybody on the internet, I told you so.
Yeah, but if you're doing that now, you missed the.
There's still, I guarantee, there's a ton of people that jumped in after everybody got the I told you so, and they're the ones that are about to lose 700% because it's going to go back down to the reasonable 100%, unreasonable 100% markup. Just so from a stock charts perspective, anything that moves with that kind of volatility at 800% over 2 weeks has the equivalent ability to move down 800% over the next 2 weeks. And if you don't know what you're doing, is an extremely difficult instrument to trade. Volatility means uncertainty. We like volatility, but those kind of swings, you better not have your stop loss in place because you will lose your shirt if you don't know what you're doing with it. But
I think most people that do that are just trading the coin itself. So it's like if I put 10,000 in, the most I can lose is 10,000.
I guess I have no idea what the majority of people that buy that stuff do. I think the crypto buying thing is like a fad right now. I do think crypto is the future. I just think like buying these different cryptos and like, because next month it's going to be a different one. Elon Musk is going to announce like a different one and everybody's going to buy that. Like right now, there's just no baseline. I guess Bitcoin, but there's no real baseline like acceptance. So
it's a roulette board. It's a roulette board.
Yeah, and everybody's trying to get the next big crypto. I think the one that actually, I think it may not exist yet. Maybe it's just about to exist, but I think the one that's going to win is just nowhere on anybody's radar right now. So different show.
Yeah, we should take a look at crypto one of these days.
So. What's that Tesla crypto? Yeah, Tesla crypto. Is that Tesla? No. Does Elon have his own?
Tesla? I don't know why he hasn't, because it's gonna instantly just the Elon Musk fan base would just skyrocket that as soon as you can trade it.
Yeah, as soon as you can trade it, right? I mean, Facebook says they're coming out with a crypto. The Fed says they're coming out with a crypto. I'm coming out with a crypto. You're coming out with a crypto. Mark's probably got a crypto ready. So, he says Elon will. Sure, why not? Buy it. I feel like LeBron James will probably do a crypto. It just feels like something he would probably do. Or more like a Kevin Hart crypto, maybe. I can see Kevin Hart doing a crypto. They just kind of, or Ryan Seacrest. That's a crypto guy. No,
maybe.
Okay. Yeah,
maybe 10 years ago. I don't know.
Oh, maybe 10 years ago. Okay. Yeah. He's probably, yeah, that's true. All right. Monday it is.
Cool. All right. See you, everyone.